This is the video editing process I've been using for the last years, and I have to say we have had major successes. I've been editing now for over 3 years for our brand Apple Design, and the numbers actually don't lie. Reaching 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 3 million followers across all platforms is already a pretty nice validation that my method is working. So why not sharing this video editing process? You can learn a thing or two. Let's go. So the first thing I do is of course cutting the A-roll. The A-roll is your main footage, and it's important to delete all the failed takes, silent moments, the ahs, they call it the breaths of that. I really check every part and make it short and snappy. Good tip would be to use hotkeys. This will significantly improve your workflow and speed. Just save your time. In the beginning, this process will take you some more time, but over the weeks, you will already see a big improvement and you will get the hang of this pretty quick. Next step is to get a clear overview. I do this by putting markers in my video footage. I think a good structure is essential, and also when you're getting back to older projects, you keep the overview. I do this in my Final Cut Pro by finding the specific parts, adding the markers by pressing M. So I know that this is one tip, one step. This helps me to keep the overview. Next, I check the whole A-cut footage again. If I didn't miss any crucial elements, everything is really short and snappy. You haven't forgotten any specific parts. We just worked on the details, so now we're scoping out again and look to the whole video. This is so important because later we're gonna work with audio, and we really want that this part is the groundwork of the whole video. So we recut the A-roll and we check the fluidity of the whole video and go in detail again. You don't want to waste the time of your viewer, so really make sure to delete all the unnecessary bits and pieces. Keep in mind, be short, be bright, be fun, and be done. Next, we're gonna focus on the color grading. I have to say I'm not the best color grader at all, but I think it's always pretty useful to lift up a bit the video image. I do this in Final Cut Pro pretty easy. You go to the color board, you raise the exposure quite heavy, shadows, the midtones, and also in the saturation section, we level up the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows. As you can see, the difference over here is pretty wild. An easy tip in Final Cut Pro, if you have one clip which is color graded, just Command C the clip, select all the other clips without the original clip which was color graded, press Command Shift V, and now add the color gradation to all the other clips. Now we're gonna fade the audio clips. The fact that we cut all the clips also means that we cutted our audio. The consequences are that our audios will give certain clicks and ticks because we just randomly cut it. What we need to do is create fades on all the beginnings and endings of our audio clips. This is how you can do it in Final Cut. You can also do this in Adobe or DaVinci Resolve without any problem. You select all your clips, we go to Modify, Adjust Audio Fades, and we press on Crossfades. And now as you can see, if we zoom a little bit in, our clips have a beautiful fade at the end and the beginning, which give again a really fluid audio transition. This is really important for the next step, which is improving the audio. What I do first is I export the audio from Final Cut Pro and import it in my Logic Pro, which is an audio and music software of Apple. So I detach the audio and export the audio. I load it in my Logic. I open my Logic project. This is already a voiceover template project. Just for the sake of it, I create a new channel, import the voiceover we had. I put a compressor, an EQ, and a de-essers for the S's, the T's, and the P's. If you're listening on headphones, you will immediately hear the difference. The voice sounds much brighter, important because the video will be watched on phones, on laptop, maybe on television. I export my audio from my Logic project. So the next step is to delete the raw audio we had in our Final Cut Pro and replace it with the improved audio. If you don't have an audio software, you can always use Adobe Podcast Enhancer. Keep in mind that if you have a proper microphone, the quality of your audio will already be 10 times better than this lavender mic I'm using right now. But with the improvement in Logic Pro, this is already 5 times better than the raw audio. The next step is the B-roll part. Now we're gonna find and add the B-roll. This is the part where we spice up the video. Rule to keep the audience engaged is to have a change every 3 or 5 seconds. This can be done with B-roll, text, or zoom effects. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Using these tools is also called Better Interrupt. Most videos nowadays have to keep the intention attention of the viewer. In this video, I added certain images as B-roll. Important to note is that when you use a video or an image from a website or from somebody else, you can always put the source in your video. This doesn't mean it's protected, but it's already a way of giving credit to the original owners of the content. Of course, make sure it's all in the right format, that the sizes are good, the text is on the right place, and if you want, you can create some animations for your own, as you have seen in this section of the video, by using keyframes. Now, zooms, jump cut, and the Ken Burns effect is a pretty good way to add some flair to your video. You can add the Ken Burns pretty easily in Final Cut Pro. Just press your video clip and go to the crop section and press on Ken Burns. You can adjust to maybe zoom it a little bit more or a little bit less. And zooming in a couple of times in your video is a perfect way to highlight a specific part. It also gives more dynamic to your footage. A jump cut is like an abrupt transition. Nowadays, everyone is using this, and I use it to keep the video engaged. Video animations or video transitions. Video transitions, they can be used to create a distinct structure in your videos. I already had the markers, so I already know that these are the parts that need a video transition. I created my own transitions, but you can find a lot online, or you can also create your own. When you go from one step to another step, or from one tip to another tip, you can always use a video transition. Just sparks the conversation and keeps the audience want to follow the story a bit more. Next to video animations, you also have text animations. Text animations are basically text on the screen in an animated way, and as you can see here, I'm talking about iPhone 15. On the right, you can type in your text. Now that we have spiced up the video, it's time to spice up the audio. I always separate the audio, the voiceover. Now we have the sounds, which is sound design, and the music. We're gonna focus on the sound design, used to accentuate an animation or a picture popping on the screen. You can use simple sounds like whooshes, the shutter camera sounds, or bleeps or clicks. I always try to imagine in my head which kind of sound would fit a transition or an animation and find the matching sound. Go get the A16 Bionic chip from the iPhone 14 Pro online or in my sound library. Normally you can easily find those basic sounds for free online or on YouTube. If you are in a more intermediate stage of creating content, maybe taking a subscription would be suitable for you. Just adding these little sounds here and there will spice up your video. Music. Depending on the type of content you create, you should choose your music wisely. For Apple Design, the music we use is purely as a comfortable background. Nothing too fancy, no lyrics, and mostly chill. And I produce the music myself. We can use it everywhere without having any copyright issues. Again, there are enough online websites and tools to provide you with the music you want. Final step, make sure that you lower the volume, because the most important is the voiceover, not the music. And the combination of the voiceover, the music, and the sound effects really shape the audio section of your video. We have gone through all the different steps: the video part, the text part, the audio composition. Do a final check, the most important step of all, and you will be surprised how many people overlook this step. I'm the living proof of it. I remember a video which I uploaded back in the days where I forgot to export the ending part of the video, and everything looks fine. Export the video in the suitable resolution. Mostly it's 1080p as we do, but you can also export in 4K. The file will be significantly larger if you export it in 4K. There you go. Hopefully you learned something new. I will share the full checklist for free in the description, so you can have it and use this checklist when you create or produce your own videos. Hit the like button if this generally helped you, and of course feel free to ask questions in the comments. Peace.